On April the 26th, a 30-year-old man drove his vehicle into a crowd at Lapu Lapu Filipino festival in Vancouver. 11 innocent people lost their lives that day and many more were injured. Vancouver police chief called it the darkest day in the city's history. The first official statement said that the driver was Kaiji Adam Low and he has a documented history of mental health crises. That statement automatically meant for most that whatever he did was because of his mental health history. But here what most people get wrong about this kind of cases. Mental illness does not make anyone violent. People with mental illness are way more likely to be victims than perpetrators of violence. About 4% only of violent crime committed by people with previous history of mental illness. Why did the police chief mention it? It is because they wanted to divert the spotlight from a possibility of a terrorist attack to mental health crisis. There are only a couple of conditions that allow violence as a part of diagnostic criteria, essentially only 3, and those conditions are not severe mental illness, not what we usually deal with. But wait, what if it's not mental illness? Then what drives these tragic events? Well, mental illness may or may not be even present at the time of mental health crisis. Most commonly, it's actually drugs or maybe some sort of life event. But even if it was mental illness contributing to this, it would be just one piece of the puzzle. It is the person's environment, their type of personality, the triggering situations, etc. All of this is very complex. You cannot just put everyone under the same umbrella of mental health crisis and call it a day. See, 80% of prison population, especially those who committed violent crimes, have a history of experiencing or witnessing violence themselves growing up. 25% of prison population in Canada has a mental illness. That is not far from population average. So what is it? The average 25% of mental illness causing violence or the 80% plus of experiencing violence growing up? I think the answer is pretty clear. The violence breeds violence, not the mental illness breeds violence. It gets even more complicated because after the crisis is over, we usually discharge our patients to receive services outside. But not everyone follows the recommendations. Even if we force treatment, let's say for substance use, that's just pointless. Vast majority, like over 90%, do not benefit from forced treatment. So what should we do? Please leave a comment with your thoughts. Psychiatrists like me often feel helpless. We don't have access to housing and other supports for these individuals. At the times like this, we should come together and support each other, including those of us who have mental illness.